It looks like it. We're okay, I guess. We're back.
You're still
How about
muted,
now?
Nate. Yeah.
Okay. Is it
Yeah,
fixed?
so far, it looks like it's working.
Well, it says excellent condition. 7 people stuck around. We'll probably not have anybody else come back through, so that's fine. All right. So welcome to Linux Saloon, where we have
Oh!
0 technical issues. Thank you, Swift. Thank you. Well, it's so nice for you to stick around and whatever, I guess. So, welcome to Linux Saloon, a place to discuss tech, open source, and where Linux is always on tap and where networks never go down. Welcome to the new world. So each show we have a talk about a Linux project, such as a Linux distribution, a desktop environment, or application. We also chat about the news or any variety of topics from the community. Anything that's Linux, tech, and open source related is on the table for discussion. I'm Nate. And with me today, I have a fantastic group of hosts, co-panelists. I don't know what to call you. People that like to talk about nerdy subjects like Linux and open source software.
Linux for the win, baby.
How is everybody?
Excellent.
Good. Yeah, good.
Great. Well, if you have not done so, please do the straw poll. It is there for you to do if you like. It's about the Notesnook. So if you have not, we're doing an application called Notesnook, and it's an open source application that's end-to-end encrypted, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So if you could do that straw poll, tell me how your experience has gone with it. That would be great. Makes for some more show content stuff. And I don't know if I can edit and trim off the entire front mess of this whole thing when I go to say I'm done with it. I don't know. Does that work? Is that a thing? Anyway.
Yeah. Chop it off.
Yeah, something. When I fix the front end. So right now there's something wrong with my my provider. Internal network, everything is fine, but I've lost connection, and so I'm using a backup right now. And I'm still getting not enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So hopefully you got smooth audio. You can shut your eyes and, I don't know, pretend like things are going great. I've also got a broken fan up above. Normally this is spinning. A couple nights ago, it started making this grinding sound, and it smelled like burnt electronics. So I decided it's probably time to turn it off.
Yeah, that's usually a really good tip.
Yeah,
I did that with my RC monster truck.
Yeah.
You got gremlins, Nate. Have you got gremlins around your home at the moment or something?
Something. I don't know what it is. But yeah, no, little irritating. Well, that's okay. I mean, everything breaks at some point in time. So anyway,
yeah, true.
Yeah. So on the dock for today, we're going to talk about that application called Notesnook, do a community free pour, and we're also going to do that straw poll, of course. So we got Ben here to the free pour. We got his cohorts in his StormOS adventures are without power. So
very excited because Jinda is going to take part in that with me, because normally my 2 buddies and co-devs would be here to help, but nope. Benny boy is running solo tonight.
That's fine.
I think you can handle it.
Yeah, I think
Jinda's just here for backup. That's all.
I think you'll do just fine.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in a few.
Yeah, but first, what have you been doing in Linux and tech? I don't know if Colin, if you had something maybe exciting to share with the class about what you've been doing or how your move's going or anything like that.
Well, move's settled. So, I'm in the home. I've got natural light coming through. I've got no lights on in the bedroom here. So that's really cool.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You might be able to see my ugly mug a little bit better. So I've just been trying to Linux this last couple of weeks, just with a bit of opportunity besides doing work around the house, trying to finish it off. Yeah, I haven't really done a lot. I didn't do Notesnook yet because did everyone have to create an account for that?
I don't know if everyone had
It's
to, but
asking to create,
I think
do you
part of
have to
it's.
create an account or?
So I'm not 100% sure. I did because I wanted to use the synchronization features, and I think you have to have an account for it to synchronize.
Oh, sorry. It's right down the bottom there. Skip and go directly to the app, written really, really small, which is not good for my glasses. All right, let's do that. Okay. It's all right. It's all good. I'm there.
Well, fantastic. At least
You can
somebody's
see
there.
that.
All
righty.
well, great. And then has the move gone very well for you now that you're in your new place?
Yeah, it's been pretty full on. Not getting any younger, and yeah, it's moving furniture and things like that can be pretty tough. But it all went pretty smoothly. My son helped me out. He's big and strong. So I think he's glad we've moved because he's had enough of it, because I think we've moved like 4 times, I think, in 2 years. So it's because we had to get out of the rental because we weren't going to stay there any longer because we didn't know when the house was going to be ready. So yeah, it's a lot of moving. But I'm glad it's done. And still busy trying to find time to do Linux, but I have had a little bit of time this week after work. Just thought I'd put projects to the side and try Linux a bit, which is trying to get my head back around it all. Maybe think about making some videos. I don't know. I'm looking at making some life changes, maybe even with work and things. So,
Wow. New house, new changes, perhaps. It'd be like a whole new you. Do you have got a new truck
I've got
or something?
a new car.
There we go.
Myself a new car.
Whoa!
Yes. It's a black Everest, Ford Everest. Really nice car. Yeah. It's really nice.
Fun.
I mean, I bought new cars, but we've only bought cars for what we needed, not what we wanted, right? So now that we're in a position in life where we can actually buy things that we want, not what we need, right? So, because a couple of years ago, I sold my 95 Falcon and I had that for 24 years. So that was a reliable car, but it just decided didn't want to start anymore. So
it's kind of gave up the ghost, huh?
Yeah. So this, well, it had a problem with I don't know if you guys are aware of what are they called? Smart lock. They got a smart lock in the older Falcons, and something was going wrong with that, and it just wouldn't start. It would start only when it wanted to. So that was very interesting. I couldn't drive it to work anymore because I'd get stuck at work and it just wouldn't start. So and eventually it would. It was one of those situations where you tap the dash and it would start. And I did that for a long time, just bang, 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 and turn the key and it would start. And yeah, even on the steering wheel, yep, that would work. And then eventually it just said, no, I'm not starting anymore.
So you had to give it the good old Fonzarelli, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Yet. Whoa. Hey.
That's fun, I guess. So
yeah, so now my new car, I just have to press the button, right? Nice.
That is nice. So
yeah.
So does this mean also it's gonna be like a new Linux in your life, or are you pretty much kind of where you want to be there?
No, well, I was just telling the guys before we came on live. I've used Esnix and building ISOs from some of Esnix's build, but he doesn't do GNOME, so I'm not using GNOME at the moment. I'm using Cinnamon, but Eric Dubois, I think I spoke about it last week. I've been making ISOs from his builds, and I managed to. If you watch his videos, you can put your own repository in, and you download from the AUR, and then you grab the file that it's what is it, tar ZST or something, and you put that in the repository, and you rebuild the repository. So what I've effectively done is made my own Linux Mint, but it's an Arch version, right? So it's got sticky notes, it's got all the X apps and all that. So It's I just wanted to do it just to see if I could. So
Oh,
I
that's
did,
cool.
and it worked. Yeah.
That's
So it's interesting to be able to do that because I thought I like using Linux Mint, but I like messing around with Arch because you can learn things, and I've got my own YAD thing that I do, so I that's actually on the disk, so I can use it straight off the bat when I install. So it's got all my browser installers and all that sort of thing. So Arch utility that I've got that I can update Arch and things like that. So it's quite cool. It's just good learning. I like to learn things. Once the learning process is gone, it becomes boring and you look for something else to do, right? I think that's what Linux is all about sometimes, isn't it?
yeah, I think so. There's always there's
Yeah.
always tons of things to learn. So it kind of depends, I think, where you're. There's so many areas
Yeah.
to learn. So like I
Yeah.
think it's once you learn something, you feel like you've maybe I don't know if kind of mastered it is the right word, but when you've I don't know got a good handle on it, then you move on to the next thing, whatever.
Yeah, that's
next
right.
thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we ever master anything in Linux, but we learn things and we learn how to do things. But unless you do it over and over and over on a consistent basis, it'd be a bit like Ben. He's building his Storm OS, so he's probably going to master that because he's working on it all the time. But I
Right.
think us guys, we probably mess around, we do things, and we go, "Yeah, done that, move on."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that sounds
it
about
is
right.
interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's very cool. Well, I'm glad, number one, that you've come back to join us again, and two, I'm glad that you're still doing interesting things with Linux. I think that's important.
Yes.
And so yeah, it's exciting, and I hope that you continue to share the different things that you are working on. Maybe make some videos again. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't get time to do that. I need to finish the home and things like that. And I don't know. I will get back to it, I suppose, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
It's
And totally
difficult.
an aside, but speaking of videos, I haven't really made many videos. Like I think this year I made a few shorts. I think just on different stuff. I just haven't had the
Right.
time to like really concentrate on anything. So I've just made like the irritating way of making a video. So portrait instead of landscape, and then I do like just some real
Right.
like
Yeah.
real fast edits and publish it. They're just dumb, silly little things just to put stuff out there. But one of my old videos that I did about my Commodore 64 imposter, was picked up by a larger larger YouTube channel, like has almost 250,000 subscribers, called Retro Recipes. So there's the Commodore 64 that I lookalike that I have, C64X or Commodore 64X. It's been re-released by a company that's officially branded now Commodore. They've got all the licensing and everything, so it is officially a Commodore.
Right.
Everything. And so it's something that kind of began like 10-ish years ago, maybe 12. Then the guy who was doing that, I think his name was Gary Altman or something like that, he passed away. Anyway, so someone in the United Kingdom, they got all the rights to it. They got all the die, all the molds and everything for the parts. And then so they're making new keyboards, different colored cases and everything else, and RGB keyboards as well.
Ooh.
Anyway, so it's been they had like a big release, and so it comes in like a nice box too, and everything. You can buy it either bare bones with nothing, or you can buy it like fully, done up with a computer and such inside of it. And anyway, so he at the very end of his video, he says, I think Cubicle Nate says it well, and he takes a clip out of one of my video when I built mine on my assessment of the of using it and everything else. And I thought that was really cool and really nice that he did that, and he let me know and everything else and linked to my channel and whatnot. So
Yeah.
now I feel guilty that I haven't been doing much video stuff. So I gotta and also like when I was at Vintage Computer Fest Midwest a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I had a few other YouTubers there ask, I haven't seen anything in a while. Are you still doing stuff? And so it made me feel guilty again. And I don't know. It's like, well, I'm doing Linux Saloon. It's kind of not the same, but it sort of. Anyway, I've been writing a lot though, so I could turn those into videos very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't lost subscribers, but I think a lot of people just don't unsubscribe, do they? They just leave it, isn't it? Because my subscriber base has pretty much stayed the same over this year or so.
I haven't lost any either. I mean, but I've been adding very, very little. But you know, has it been a year since you've been here? When's the last time you've been here? Has it been? When did you start your move?
I don't think it's been a year since. Well, it's since I moved from my original home. It's been almost 2 years, I think. Coming up, 18 months, I think. So.
Okay.
I think I did make a video in between. I can't remember. I may have made one. I did a Ubuntu video. I don't know when that was. Always find interest in looking at the changes in Ubuntu. I don't know when that was. Let's have a look now. You got me interested. You got me curious now, Nate. I don't know when my last video was. Let's have a look.
I would click and
December
search around.
30th, 2023. December in 2023.
It's been a little while.
Yeah. It has been a little while, yeah.
Well, that's fun. So I got to do something, I guess. I have some ideas. But speaking of
like
ideas,
you said, it's the.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you said.
Nah, go on. I was going to say it's hard. It's making videos. I'd probably find the time. It's the focus on what to do and the time and energy to do that. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Yeah, I think for me it's I'll do a video and then as I work on it, like, man, I don't like how I said this. Said I sound like a real moron. I want to reshoot that. I'll reshoot it.
I don't worry about that.
And then I listen to it and I'm like, man, you know, the way your enunciation is all wrong. You sound like you got mush mouth. Like, what, are you tired? Are you sipping back on Grandpa's cough syrup? What's going on? And then I'm going through. I'm like, well, now you're talking too fast, and it just I get so frustrated with me. It's really hard to produce something. And I've had someone say, you know, it doesn't matter. People don't care. But then when I see,
they don't look. I look at it this way, even though, look, I try to edit out and try and make it smooth as possible. And then, so you just do things 2 or 3 times, Nate. That's what I do. And then as you're editing the video, you just pick the best parts of it. You know what I mean? Even if you repeat yourself on video, people aren't going to know that once you edit it, right? But I think...
I suppose.
What was it? Yeah. But the video tells the story, right? That people, they get interested in what you're doing as in the video. So I don't think they take a lot of notice of what you're talking about anyway, unless it's you know, relevant to what's in the video. But they just like to see what you're up to, right?
Most of the time, I like to. I'm more of a. I want the audio to be right. And if the audio's not right, I can deal with video not being great.
Right. Okay.
But that's just me. I don't know. I probably just need to buckle down. But, you know, work's just really been busy on me. And I think I need to get a bit of a break in some of my workload. And then hopefully it'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Donald, is it McCunnis? Donald? Anyway, Donald says, don't be too critical. We still listen to you. You aren't that bad. So he's basically saying, he's basically saying, you know, someone should wave a skunk in front of your face to kind of, you know, get the picture. Oh, okay. I won't be too critical, Donald, but you didn't put an emoji behind that, so I'm just going to take it that you're being as brutally honest as possible. Oh, and then Steve's very own. No, I don't have any of your. You can exclamation point fart all you want. That's never going to happen here. This is not a Steve's very own OBS stream. Things already hanging, you know, barely hanging together. So we're not going to push that any harder than it already is. But anyway, all right. Well, I suppose it's time for us to move on to the straw poll, and all my times are probably way off, and I have no idea if this is even going to whatever. I guess maybe I'll do the best I can here with all this. But anyway, I'm going to do the straw poll. What best describes your experience with Notesnook? So if you haven't done the straw poll, knock that out real quick. Cool. If not, that's also fine too. So what it came down to, 30% said it's good. 15% with other. 10% said it's amazing. And 2 more, 10%, didn't have a good time with it. Another 10% said not interested in this exploration. And then also did not have time / busy, work with works, busy with life, and so forth. And then Tux Penguin got 10% of the votes, and then it's okay with 5%. So most of those are all tied, except for the bottom and the top 2. That's the way it goes sometimes, I guess. All right. So I go over some of these replies here. So one is, I actually pay the subscription for it after I migrated to it close to a year ago. I think it's easily worth the price and works about as well as Evernote did for me. I would like to know, so plus Linux compatibility is a big thing for me. That makes sense. So I wonder what it says almost as well. I wonder what the missing piece of that is. So another one is, this challenge made me finally look at moving away from Evernote and reevaluate my note-taking and sharing of notes. Notesnook looks cool and does have, although as yet undocumented, a self-hosting sync server. Another essential feature for me is collaboration, which Notesnook does not currently have. Consequently, the solution also needs to be multi-platform, including iOS and Android, and be easy enough for the misses to use. Flat notes structure as opposed to database. Markdown and ESIV backup would be rewarded bonus points. After a lot of redditing, the quest morphed into standing up a Nextcloud all-in-one Docker container, which I wanted to look into since I first released. I had hit and miss results previously with Nextcloud, Collabora, and reverse proxy configs. Nextcloud all-in-one is a fair bit simpler to get up, albeit reading its very thorough documentation is essential. I'm now in the process of migrating old notes off Evernote and evaluating Nextcloud's multi-platform usability before bringing the wife over. We'll report back if all goes pear-shaped. We're off to Notion or Google Keep. That's good to know. So footnote, another note-taking options considered, Obsidian. I currently use this for personal notes. I don't require collaboration or sharing, i.e. my Linux knowledge base mostly. Standard notes, lack of collaboration support. HedgeDoc, non-flat file structure, database, no mobile app. Etherpad, no multi-platform. Joplin, no web-based app. Hey, Joplin, that's your bag, isn't it, Colin?
Yeah, I use Joplin, yeah.
So I think I need to
find it pretty good.
Okay. We've talked about it before, but I've never actually not actually dug into that one. So it's interesting. The this sent somebody down a path of exploration, a bunch of other things. So something to think about too. That's pretty cool. So I did have some time here and there to play with Notesnook, and I guess I wasn't sure what I was expecting or features I was necessarily looking for. I was looking for just something that I can take notes on, and more or less something that would be a replacement, I think, essentially for OneNote. So OneNote's fine, but there's no Linux app. I can use the web app, but it's very slow and clunky on Windows or Linux. And the OneNote app itself, it's really hard to search for things. So I didn't get to load this one up a lot, but I did play with it a little bit. And anyway, so who here had a chance to look at Notesnook? So Jinda, Swift turned his camera off, so probably not. Ben already said he didn't get a chance to look at it. So Colin, you said you looked at it?
I'm playing around with it now.
Oh, okay. So I guess in let me actually read a little bit about Notesnook from the website, just so that I'm not missing something here. So according to the website, it says Notesnook is open source and end-to-end encrypted and private. So you can write notes with freedom, no spying, no tracking. So that's cool. You can get started for free. And I'm not sure if it's like a freemium model or whatnot. I didn't really dig into that part of it. I didn't dig into the that piece of it. So it says privacy is not for everyone, not just for privileged few. So your privacy matters to us regardless of who you are. In the world where everyone is trying to spy on you, Notesnook encrypts your data before it leaves your device. With Notesnook, no one can sell your data ever again. And then, so they push a lot of the end-to-end sync and whatnot. So as far as some of the features go, again, this is one of those things like I don't know. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for necessarily, but I like some of the features that they have, just right there on their front page. So bidirectional note linking, which is kind of cool, so you can jump between related ideas, very, very easily, which, a lot of some other note-taking applications do that as well. Although I will say the linking in OneNote to me is kind of clunky. Maybe I'm missing it, but it didn't really work well for me. And then I don't care about emoticons so much, but what I did think was nice is it does have desktop applications for Windows, Mac, Linux, and browser. And then you have the mobile OSs, Android and iOS also there as well. So it's for everybody in that regard. There's not I don't see that they have like anyone as being pushed as more relevant than the other, but here we are. So they do have a dark mode. I don't know if anybody used that or not when they're doing it, but that works pretty well. There's just a little bit of weirdness with some of the widgets on the top for me, but it could be a plasma thing. I don't know. As far as like taking notes, it was really easy to do. It's very what I would call very intuitive. So you don't have to think about it to use it. I can see notes, add, and I can add a note. I think I'm going to try using this also for maybe actually grocery shopping now too. So right now I've been using Simple Notes for that. And then I like it that you can tag things, and then you can look at things by tag. That's a really cool feature. And set reminders as well. But I think one of the features and I didn't try this, but I think it's really neat, is monographs. Did anybody look at monographs? So what you can do with monographs is, let's say you want to share a note with somebody, and rather than like copying and pasting it, put in an email or whatever, you can send them a password protected note that can self-destruct and everything else right from there. And that I think is pretty cool. So I could send, Colin a note basically warning him about the impending kangaroo disaster coming to him, where they're waiting for him outside of his house to beat him up or something along those lines. And so you can have the note self-destruct, and I'm thinking like Inspector Gadget every time I hear that. But anyway, so I thought that was a very cool feature as well. Then of course, there's trash, but I didn't play with any like the backup recovery keys or anything like that, and I didn't have any issues with the sync. So, and I do like to have a full offline mode as well. So if you want to, if let's say you do have spotty internet or your internet goes out, you're still fully functional if you have a full offline mode as well, which I think that's pretty cool, because there's a lot of like cloud-based applications that don't have, they have a client, but they don't have a full offline mode or whatever. So like if you can't access something, if your internet's down, you're basically out of luck. So having that ability, I think that's also very cool. And then another feature I think is also very, just for me, who can get really annoyed by things, but if you have problems with the sync, you can force push and force pull as well. That's something that I think is really neat to have there. Even if it's a placebo thing, I'm still good with it just because they put it there, that button. So they have a light and a dark mode. Like the dark mode, it's a great dark mode. I appreciate it, and you can have your different color accents. I, of course,
Maybe. Oh, it's back.
did I crash out?
Yeah, something happened.
It happens. Well, I didn't say I was going to have good connection. Where did you last hear me before I crashed out on you?
Something about you giving us money, and I forget the rest.
Oh, that was Ben that was going to give you money.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on, Nate.
Come on, Ben. You got all that money from all that schooling you're doing? Isn't that like school makes you rich? Or do I have things
School
backwards?
does not make one rich, man.
Make somebody rich.
It's like the Jedi say, wars not make one great.
I think that's it. Yoda that said that. Was that
Yoda
from...
did say that, but remember, he was the oldest Jedi out of all of them to ever live, because he lived to be 900 years old.
900 you are. Look this good, I think not, or something like that.
Yeah, he said, when 900 years old, you reach, look as good you will not.
That's right. No, I'll be decomposing.
I say Return of the Jedi way too many times to not remember that quote.
That's cool. So I don't know where what was the last thing I said? Do you know? I can't remember. Do you know like where I died out?
You were talking about something along the lines of the app. I wasn't sure.
Okay, good. No one's paying attention. All right, I didn't
pay it much mind. I was focused on something.
Light mode, dark mode. It was
the dark mode. Yeah, the dark and the light mode. Yeah.
The dark mode was good. You said.
Okay, yeah, the dark mode is good. I have it set to green.
The dark and the light mode comparison. Yeah.
And then the big feature I really like is the fact it's got an offline mode. So if you want to run this thing in full offline mode where it only it keeps a local copy at all times, you can do that. So anyway, so that's I think really cool. I think overall, I mean, I don't know if there are any particular features that you thought were standout or different. So I primarily use I've been using Simplenote and TiddlyWiki as my two major note-taking apps. So this is very different than TiddlyWiki, also OneNote. And I think this is much nicer than OneNote. I think it has a lot better feature sets. As far as like TiddlyWiki is concerned, that's kind of like for me, it's a, you can do whatever you want with it. If you can JavaScript, you can make it do whatever you want. So it can't really do everything that can do necessarily. But I think this is much easier to use. And I haven't used Evernote in probably a decade, so I couldn't tell you about that. So anyway. Oh, and the focus mode's kind of cool. I didn't try that before. So anyway, that's kind of my overview of it. I think it's a pretty great application. I think I'm going to be using this one for a while to see if this will be a good fit for like work things now. And I think it might be like because it does have a Windows application and a Linux application. So this might be the right kind of thing for work, and I'm gonna push it along those lines. I don't know. I think that's kind of where I'm at on that one. I'm not sure what else to jibber jabber about it. Was it either recommended, Jinda? Who recommended this?
I don't know. I know I didn't, because I played with it for like 5 minutes, figured out what it was, and then I was like, okay, this is not my cup of tea. I would never use anything like this in a million years.
Okay.
But I did have to admit, it is very polished.
Yeah, it is.
It is a gorgeous program. It really is. Whoever made this program really went out of their way to make something that was really slick.
Yeah, I think my next step is really to see if I can make this thing do everything OneNote can do, and then I think then if so, I'll probably transition to this instead of OneNote.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out. So you've got notebooks and you've got notes. So the notebook you can make separate notes under the heading of one notebook, and then you can add notes to it, or you can just have separate notes themselves, right? Is that
Yeah.
how I'm seeing that? Yeah.
And then you can also
Okay.
put your notes in notebooks. So you can create the notes on the fly,
Yes.
and then you can add them to notebooks as you see fit.
Yes. So if I made a notebook called Linux, I can add like a note for Arch, a note for Ubuntu, and a note for this, so I can have notes for separate ones under that Linux heading, right?
Right.
Of a notebook. And then you've got a notes on the side here. You can just do notes, separate notes, individual notes. Okay. I'm just trying to get up to speed on how it works to see how it compares to Joplin. That's all.
And then you can also create
So,
the notes within the notebook as well, which is kind of cool. So
yes.
So the way I can see myself using this right now is I'm going to have the different notebooks of everything that I'm working on at work. I think the way I'm going to be dropping. So I had not made many notes this week, but I'm going to put start putting like when I do screenshots of things and like little how to do specific tasks. I'm going to start plugging them inside of this, and I want to see kind of how that works out. And I think this then might end up being my go-to. So I think what's also very compelling, though, I think that the whole monograph thing is pretty compelling too. So if you want to share it, the whole sharing a note, and then if it were to it's like temporarily or a password protected note, or or something that self-destructs, or something you can only look at once or whatever, that I think is also pretty compelling too.
So Nate, you created an account, did you?
I did. Yep.
And where does and so if you're sharing, so this is also available on the phone, I believe. So if you're sharing, where does it go? Where does it hold it? Because I know Joplin uses OneDrive, which is the Microsoft account on Hotmail. So whenever you install Joplin on any device, all you need to do is just choose OneDrive. It'll just find the file and pick up where you left off, which is pretty nice. So I don't know if this is holding it on OneDrive or Google Drive or something like that. Do you know?
I don't actually know where it's being held. I didn't look into that. So
okay.
And
the other thing I want to ask Jinder is this thing a markdown or it's not a markdown? It looks like it's just a normal text-based thing, yeah?
That's what I thought it was.
Joplin's a markdown, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like gives you a very plain text, but you can make it look really, on the side, it looks really fancy when it's finished. So you can do brackets and stuff like that. I haven't used it for a while, but you can make it look really fancy on Joplin. So this one here looks like it's still plain text, which is a lot more simplified, to be honest. But
so
not too bad.
No. So so yeah, it has a lot of potential there for sure. I don't think it's going to replace my TiddlyWiki because that's all like held locally. But I'm trying to look. I'm looking to see where do the notes live? Frequently asked questions. Oh, I don't see where they're.
So I think maybe let me have a look at the settings, because I'd have to think that you would have to. So backup and export. So what does that give you the options for? Restore backup, automatic backup. Choose backup format. So yeah, where does it go? Select directory to store all backup files. I don't know. Oh, servers. It's got a server here. Oh, so you can connect to a server. So you need a URL.
Yeah, and I think that they have a browser client, so I'm sure that connects to their system as well.
Okay. It's nice, but I'll probably stick with Joplin because I've already got all my notes in there. I'm a big fan of Cherry Tree too. I use Cherry Tree a lot, which is good on the computer. Just it's a flat pack app. You can just pick it up, and I've got a lot of. I use that for all my Linux stuff. So if I do anything in Linux, I tend to write it down in Cherry Tree. So if I need to come back to it, I've got the information there. So that's pretty handy.
Got it.
What's been your experience with Joplin?
Sorry?
What's been your experience with Joplin in particular?
Yeah, I think it's just a great little app. I think it's probably a little bit overcomplicated with the markdown and that, but once I got used to it, it was not too bad. So I used it when I went to. So I drove from one side of Australia to the other to visit family, and I used Joplin and put everything where I'm stopping, where I'm staying overnight, and all that from Melbourne to Perth or Perth to Melbourne, and then Melbourne to Perth. So I had 2 different notes for that, and where I was staying and what time we were driving, when we were having breaks. So it was really good. And as long as you got data connection, whatever changes you make, it just makes them on the fly. So it's really good. So if you ever if you write something down, you're not going to forget it because it'll sync straight away. So it's pretty handy. Yeah. So I don't know if this notes. Sorry.
Were you paying for a cloud version of it or something? I'm trying to
No. It just allows you to connect to. I think it Googled. What is it? OneDrive is what mine's connected to. So the file sits on OneDrive. Yeah. And because I've got a Hotmail account, I get the OneDrive for free or whatever. So that doesn't cost me anything. And there was a couple of others. I can't remember what they were, to be honest. If I open it up, I'll probably can find out. But let me have a quick look. What else it was syncing with? Because I think I had three different options. I think.
See, I've been using it on various devices, but the issue that I want is that I want it to be across multiple devices. Much like, for example, in the world of Apple, you have your notes. I want something similar, but something that I can use in Linux or across platforms, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, this one here, I use on my phone. I use on any computer. This is Joplin. It's on my phone. It's on my computer, and any computer I want because it's a flat pack version as well. It's very accessible. So that's what makes it pretty handy.
That's decent. Let me look at it again. A little while.
I want to welcome Seeker. Do you have power? Or I see you're in your car. You're muted. It's not letting you unmute.
Well, we got 2 of the StormOS people here.
I'm in my car right now.
Hey, Red.
I'm in my car. Hey,
How
guys.
you doing?
Good.
Well, I'm glad you decided to pop on with us.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. I didn't want to miss this one.
Oh, heavens no.
Just for your information, Swift, it's got the potential to synchronize with Joplin Cloud, Dropbox, OneDrive, File System, Nextcloud, WebDAV, S3 Beta, I don't know what that is, and Joplin Server. So it can synchronize with all of those.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think we would look at Joplin again too and see how it compares. See like feature for feature.
I think it depends what you need. I mean, I only need basic things, but Joplin just seemed to tick all the boxes at that time. Notesnook doesn't look too bad either, but it's just that when you got something up and running, you don't really want to redo all your notes. It's time consuming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a relationship. You don't want to start all over and try to figure things out again.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So there's a Flatpak. How do you run Joplin? Is it run on a do you run it on a Flatpak or?
Yeah, Flatpak, Android. You get it, you install it on Android. I don't know if it's available on Mac or Windows. I'd have to think so. I haven't really checked that out, but it's really easy. If I think I've changed phones before, and I've just put it in, connected to OneDrive, and it just picks up the file, and there's your notes all there. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd probably go with the Flatpak
But
if I try that out.
Right. This Notesnook is not too bad either, because it's, fairly simple text notes,
And then,
which is what most people want.
And so, like Joplin versus
Yep.
Cherry Tree, what leans you one way or the other with that one?
Cherry Tree I've been using for a long time. Joplin, Cherry Tree's not, it doesn't have the synchronization from device to device. So Cherry Tree is just something I use when I install, if I install a different Linux operating system, which, freakishly I do quite often. I can just put a USB in, or keep it on the internet here at home, and just pick up the file for Cherry Tree, and I've got all my Linux notes, which is what I mainly use it for. Joplin's used for, social and personal and Linux stuff if I want to. So I use it for everything. Cherry Tree is mainly just all Linux notes and stuff. So I've got notes going back probably 5-6 years on that.
Got it. Yeah, there's so many like really good note-taking applications. It's kind of hard to. It's really hard to zero in on one, I think. At least that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess
I've got one on
spoiled
Android.
for choice.
I've got one on. We are, aren't we? At the end of the day, I mean, there's one on Android I've been using for a long time called Color Note, and that thing's just brilliant. You can actually lock files or lock certain ones if you don't want people accessing it, and you use the same password for all the lock notes. So that's pretty handy. I've been using that for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then how happy are you with that solution?
Yeah, I'm happy with the Color Note. That works really well for me. I don't use it as much now because I've got the Joplin and that, but Color Note, I can put certain things down. You know, when you're out and about, you may have to have. Sometimes if I've got different cars, we got 2 or 3 cars. You need to know the regos. I put them in Color Note just in case I can't remember the registration, and little things like that. And your tax file number you may need. Sometimes you put that in there, you lock it down so people can't access it if they've got your phone, and things like that. Just personal things that you need, that you may need off the fly, off the cuff, when somebody might, or you're filling out a form or something, and you need to know something. I've got the information there, right? So that's handy.
Yeah,
that's basically what I use that for, and it's saved me many times.
Well, I believe it. I know I've had I mean, even Simple Note has saved me several times too. So
right.
It looks like a War Thunder. Let's see if the pop-up. No, the pop-up's not working right now. It says Joplin is also very good, so he agrees with you.
Right. I haven't looked at chat for a while. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But yeah, so that's anyway. It's interesting to see. That's you're not alone on that one.
Yeah.
So
has anybody got a glitch on Notesnook on the top header bar with the close and open, or it might be the theme I'm using? Actually, it's probably the theme I'm using. Yeah.
I'm having a little bit of a glitch, but it's.
Oh,
it's
are
not,
you? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's not awful. It's just kind of annoying, but not awful. It's like minimize.
That's all good. It still
got a
works.
minimize on top of a minimize right next to each other, but at least you're not losing any other functions.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
All right.
so pictures are a premium feature. So if you want to put attachments in there, you do have to pay for that. So there's a 14-day free trial if you want to give that a whirl. So something to think about. But anyway, all right. Well, good deal. I think. Does anybody have anything else you want to talk about in the world of notebooks, digital notebooks or otherwise? Paper are great because you can drop them and the screen doesn't crack. There's that.
Pretty much.
And if you get it out of the water quick enough, it will dry out. You can still use it, although it might be less of a stellar experience, but it won't let the blue smoke out. So paper notebooks, as Anna Rita would say, she's old-fashioned. She uses a regular notebook. That is definitely a method. However, it doesn't sync very well. I don't know how to do an auto sync with paper. If someone knows how that would work, that'd be great.
I'm really a fan of Apple Notes.
Okay.
In all honesty, because it's really nice. And I'm trying to do something that works the same way with my other devices, like non-Apple stuff. I want them to be. It's a work in progress. It's almost like layers. Like I have to do this in order to accomplish this and to do this. So it's not a priority. It's something to do in the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, Apple doesn't. I don't think I can run Apple Notes on my Linux machine, so that wouldn't work for me.
No,
They're not a very open and welcoming community in that regard.
not at all.
And then, so Dan Lackland says, I've been using VI or Vim for almost 30 years. It feels really, really slow. Try it without command mode. I don't know where he's getting at with that, but.
He said it's really slow to write without command mode.
Oh, I got you. Well, he likes getting stuck in Vim world, but I never understood that meme. So
Vim's great until you want to exit.
Yeah, that's what they say. It works fine.
WQ or something, I think it is. I don't know. I can't remember.
That's funny. I think Joplin's interesting because you can choose how you want to synchronize it. So,
yeah,
Nextcloud, S3, WebDAV. What's this?
And that's why I said it was going to be layers for me to really do ultimately what it is I have in mind. Because I saw one of the options was when you're self-hosting your own your Nextcloud server, and that's something I was, not sure I was considering to do in the near future. It's just some things I would need to do in order to make that happen to be actually practical. So that's interesting.
Right.
But it's not a priority or anything, so I'm not really on that too much. It would be nice though.
I don't know. This Joplin looks pretty good too. Man, there's just so many good
options. It is. And it synchronizes really well, I have to say. Like when I was on my trip a couple of years ago, I was just writing things down and syncing, and if I wanted to look at anything that I did, I just got home, opened Joplin on the computer, and it's all synced, and there's all my notes all written down. So it's really handy. I have to say it's probably the best one I've found that works really well with the synchronization. Definitely. Yeah. So
no, that's pretty cool.
With there's so many options. Sometimes you have to kind of almost like the eeny, meeny, miny, mo kind of thing. That sometimes because there's so many options, you're spending eternity trying to do each one, and so that's why I pretty much got on Joplin and said, okay, well, let me figure this out and use this for a while, and then if I decide to switch to something else, at least this is something that I've gotten a handle of already.
Yeah, I think you can get caught up in it's one of those things. I mean, once when you try something, you've really got to spend a bit of time with it to work out how it works. That's the number one thing. And then you invest all that time, and then you say, well, it's not working exactly how I want it to work. right? So then you've got to start the process all over again. That's why when I find something that does work properly, I tend to stick with it. It's the same with Cherry Tree. That took me a while. I only use Cherry Tree in a very basic way, but you can add pictures and things like that. So, but now I know how it works to be able to use it in the way that I want to. And I'm sure there's so many other things you can do with it, but I just use it for the way I want to use it. So it comes in handy and I know how to do things. So it's just that process. And I think it's the same process with everything, isn't it? With a Linux operating system, with apps, it's the same process with all of them.
Did you know that Joplin has a
Absolutely.
terminal application version?
No, I didn't know that.
Looks like it. Wild.
Is that right?
Yeah. Looks like yeah, it's an npm install. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder how it works. Huh. That'd be worth trying too.
Yeah, I think you'd like it, Nate, to be honest. I really do think you'd like it, especially the synchronization part of it. I think you'd like. So
So
yeah, give it a go.
HipDad says in the chat, says, yay, Zoom, all your info belong to China. And I think at that point, I mean, it's all public anyway. But I agree. I wouldn't have a private conversation on Zoom. That's for sure. So yes, you are correct. Although I don't know if I would have a private conversation on Teams either. What could you have? What would you suggest, HipDad, if I want a private conversation, like audio conversation? What would you suggest? I don't think Discord would be it either. Obviously not Telegram, based on information that's come out on Telegram.
How about Jitsi?
What about
Jitsi?
What about in your own home? Unplug the TV, turn off your phone. You know, I mean, how far does it go at the end of the day?
I mean, I have a lady tube, but I keep her unplugged. I turn it on only every once in a while. Well, actually, I when I want to laugh, I'll plug it in and say lady tube, red alert, and it'll do the sound from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Lady tube, never heard of that one before.
The Amazon lady tube, you know.
Oh, was it? Oh, Amazon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can actually call it computer as well, and it'll respond as it's a wake word. Ooh, right. War Thunder says metal cans and string. Yes, but I don't know how secure that would be either. So I wholeheartedly agree with that one. So yeah. So encrypted matrix / Jitsi. I mean, I don't know how. Honestly, I have no confidence that anything is really truly secure on the internet. Really. But Signal. So Master Billy Quizboy says, did no one suggest Signal? Signal might be great.
That's a message. Yeah, it's a messaging app though. Yeah,
and they just fixed it so you don't have to have your phone number tied to it. So that's nice.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I can't say I like Signal though.
Didn't know that.
I keep Signal for one person and one person only. So yeah. Anyway. Well, the Signal's all right. I just don't like the interface. To me, it's just clunky, and it's a me problem. It's not a Signal problem. It's totally a me problem. So I acknowledge that. All right. Well, I think we beat Notes applications to death. And so I guess we'll go ahead and say, so next week we are going to have an open mic night. So anything Linux tech and open source. is on the table for discussion, like every other conversation, every other week. But just kind of it's a free for all night. So Ben, that doesn't mean you're going to talk about how you do Jedi moves on your kitchen table.
Oh God, heavens no!
To impress the neighbors.
Well, I'm not bringing Star Wars into this one. Trust me. That's the last thing I would want to do is embarrass myself in front of everybody with my Jedi abilities. Trust me.
Just listen, I embarrass myself every weekend, either in my ignorance or my inability to get the stream up and going when I think everything is fine.
Oh, geez.
At
Yeah,
this
we were
point,
almost 30 freaking minutes late tonight.
it was 9. And so it's kind of one of those things like, I'm just going to kind of roll with it. I got angry there for a little bit, but
I will put my robes on for everybody, but I will not pull out the lightsaber. Heavens no. I'm not going to do that to you.
If you don't pull out the lightsaber, it never existed. Just
I'm not saying that, because I will be honest, I do have a couple of those in my room, but I will not bring them down here and start doing a bunch of spins and tricks for everybody. No.
I want to see you do that thing that I think it was in the Clone Wars, whatever.
You mean the Obi-Wan and Anakin move? Oh God,
I like it when they like the fight and they do like a flip, and it's almost like a cartwheel, but they're not actually.
I'm just gonna preface this right now. Oh geez, we have not, in my practice, we have not, even though I am a knight, I'll say that we have not gotten to the part where we are doing acrobatics. I'm sorry.
I don't think I could with
Oh God.
If someone called me a knight, I don't know.
I mean, as much as I'd
about
love to demo my abilities and all that sort of thing, there is such a thing as a code, and for code of conduct, and because I haven't done practice in over a month and 4 weeks, we have to go back to basics. So sorry to tell you, but next week there will be no fancy schmancy lightsaber moves from me. Just saying.
I got you. All right.
Anyway,
I just have to sidetrack here real quick. So War Thunder says, I am actually thrilled to be getting a 3D printer soon. Yes.
Yay.
3D printers are tons of fun.
Tons of fun.
Last week we were talking about CAD. I've been playing around more with CAD stuff. I'm back on Onshape now after playing with Fusion 360. I can't lock in onto one, but anyway. So yeah, CAD's fun. Yeah. I don't have it here, but I 3D printed a thing for my daughter. It's like a little toy. It's a dragon, like just the bones, whatever, and it's all it's like printed in place, and it kind of like you can flop around with it. It's just like a fun toy. I did an ABS, and normally I have really a lot of problems with ABS, but I did it. I sliced it with Orca Slicer, and this is the first time I've done ABS and not have it curl crazy. But it's not like I did anything different other than use Orca Slicer versus another slicer. So somehow it figured things out quite nicely.
I really think that's why Bamboo Labs, everybody thinks those printers are great. I don't think they are. I think it's the software running behind them.
Yeah, just how they're manipulating them, yeah. Oh yeah, Anarita, 3D printers are good to print things, to fix small things around the house. Yes. All the time, absolutely. When you need a bracket for something, like holding a shelf up, whatever, just a small little thing that you just can't fix it with the super glue because it's not strong enough. You need to 3D print one, We'll design a 3D print, I guess. But anyway, I don't want to go off on a 3D printing tangent because I want to get into housekeeping. So I do keep a calendar. I will update the calendar, a Linux Saloon calendar of when we're having things. So I'll have that updated here on the next couple days. Also, if you have any distribution suggestions or discussion suggestions, you think we should talk about a topic, as long as it's not like we want to stay away from the, certain P word, away from that, just because this is supposed to be a happy place. We talk about technology and fun things. So, but distribution suggestions, applications, poll ideas, anything you got, it's good. But mostly, we are a ragtag bunch of misfits that enjoy technology, and I want to keep it that way. Us little ragtag and little, off kilter, because you're all like my brothers from another mother or something like that.
Woohoo!
Linux or whatever, I guess.
Yeah,
But
Linux
anyway.
and mumbo jumbo.
So I did want to get to a news topic that I'm really excited about, and I might be the cheese that stands alone in this one, but this is something that Eris submitted in the news articles. So I don't know if you're on the Telegram, and I don't know if that's secure or not, Warhammer or Arch Penguin. Okay, I don't know how secure you want to be, but there are a couple of really excellent articles, and I can't say again, well, a lot of things really with much certainty. But anyway, so I use Plasma on OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, and I just want to share that this week in Plasma 6.2 has been released, and I have upgraded to 6.2. Hopefully that wasn't my problem earlier. Was it my problem earlier, Colin? Do you think? Probably not.
You never know.
Could my Plasma have somehow screwed up my network and caused everything to go wonky right as the show started? I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
That's all right. You're on OpenSUSE. You can go back to the previous version.
Snapshot, yeah.
Installed it. Yeah,
it's true. Now there's some really cool features in Plasma, but I just wanted to go through this article first and just tell you one that I think is really neat. So they've done some UI improvements. So it's like just little things, but just like padding around things in the system settings, just improving its overall look. Did a bunch of bug fixes that were reported. They also they did a lot of optimizations in Discover, so its launch speed is much quicker, and they are still doing some. I guess there are some regressions in Plasma 6.2. I have not noticed any regressions, but it looks like things like the Power Devil is causing Samsung Odyssey G5 to go on off repeatedly forever with support enabled for DDC. I don't know what DDC is. No HDR setting display configuration anymore. That wasn't something I looked for anyway. And so anyway, they have a list of other stuff too. And also apparently some people it's causing the cube effect to crash. I won't test it now, but I haven't noticed that either. So some things that I think are really cool, and I don't know this. I've not seen this in any other operating system. Maybe it exists in Mac. I don't know. I don't have Mac except for this one here. This is where Mac peaked, by the way.
It's a puny Mac.
It's a Macintosh SE FD SD.
Yeah.
So it's got the floppy drive and the hard drive. So anyway,
the floopy drive.
So one of the things, for basically ever, not forever, but for as long as I can remember, within the system settings in Plasma, you could adjust the built-in brightness. On a laptop, you could adjust the brightness of the screen. No problem, very easy to do. Well, what I've noticed now is they have brightness controls for external screens. And so I've never had this before, but you can adjust the brightness of every screen. So I don't have to fiddle with any the physical buttons on the side of things, whatever, try and get the brightness up or down or push buttons. So it accepts whatever Plasma's doing. It accepts those kind of adjustments to brightness. And I did check on a Windows machine to see if I could do that. And that was not an option that I could find. So this is definitely I'm sure they'll get it eventually. And I don't know if Mac has it or not. Maybe Swift would know since he does run Mac OS. But being able to adjust the brightness of screens from a menu in the system tray, brilliant. Absolutely love it. Totally awesome. Also, now I do have to use an slightly older kernel because I'm having issues with 6.11 and DisplayLink drivers. But I can also on the framework I can adjust the brightness with the keyboard as well in the menu. So that's not a big deal. So anyway, framework's pretty cool. But anyway, so I thought that was a really awesome update from the Plasma folks. I get excited at every update, so that's always fun.
Nate, you use OBS?
Yes, I use the Flatpak version.
Your problem might be there's been an update to KDE 6.2. There's been an update to KDE Framework 6.7, and there's been an update to OBS 31. So you could possibly be having some conflicts there. I'm not saying it is the problem, but you just never know.
I don't know.
Time to do a zipper update, bud.
I do know that my bit rate dropped on from OBS and my internet kind of crapped out on me. So, and after rebooting the modem, that fixed it. So my guess is it was probably an issue with that. We did have a thunderstorm roll through here right as the show was starting too. That might have had something to do with it too. Again,
It could be a number of things. Man.
It could be. I mean, there's a number of things it could be. There's so many opportunities for failure.
But we
anyway.
bore through it. That's the important thing.
Yeah, got through it. And then another story I think is kind of exciting here, and that is Wayland. I don't know if everybody here is using Wayland, but the Wayland protocol got three new protocols. So this is
No, I'm not using Wayland.
Okay, well, I'll share it.
Us on XFC are not touching that thing yet.
Yeah, they'll get to it. So Wayland protocols
They'll get to it eventually.
1.38 brings, and I just thought it was kind of funny, but System Bell, FIFO, and commit timing protocols. So I don't know what the first out surface content behavior. I'm not really sure what that exactly means, but it has something to do with Wayland and Vulkan use. So that's cool. Commit timings, didn't really understand that. Timestamps to Wayland, surface states and whatnot. Don't really understand that one, but I do understand System Bell. So the intent here is that the System Bell alerts, such as from terminal emulators, can be handled by the compositor or provide for better accessibility, since the System Bell may not be audible. So this protocol in development still since last year, which is interesting that a System Bell protocol has been in development for so long, allows Wayland compositors to decide how the System Bell event should be handled, like via visual feedback. So I just think it's kind of neat because, System Bell is something I've used for, like terminal processes and whatnot, to have it kind of make noises and whatever years ago. And I haven't really used it lately, but it's kind of neat to see that it's still something that's being kind of pushed and tweaked and adjusted and everything else. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Kind of cool. Protocols being added. I know that Steam is also now involved more with Wayland. So I think we might see some really interesting things happen. Linux will finally get caught up in the display world to everything else, while Microsoft finally gets caught up in the
They're getting
file
caught
manager.
up a dozen other things.
Yeah, the file manager is one thing that they just don't
Yeah.
quite have it there yet. So anyway, those are some news topics. So I want to get on to. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? Let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, Arch Penguin says thunderstorm will jack everything up, or jack.
Yeah.
Will jack everything. I added the up. My apologies.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, but I don't know. It was the thunderstorm was happening for a while. I was talking to Ben ahead of time before the stream started, and it was thundering out and raining and everything else. So who knows? Who knows?
At least you didn't say light the candle.
Oh, and also does Plasma 612 let you use X11? Yes, it does. You can still that. It's just not default. It won't have the new features.
Default
yeah, it's basically feature frozen, so you won't get any of the new features. You'll just get they're just going to maintain. You'll just get
the stock stuff.
Not sure exactly what that means, but whatever doesn't require extra work, I suppose. Anyway. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the community free pour, and let's see, Ben, what kind of shenanigans you got yourself involved in? He's been like in and out, so my guess is he's probably not going to be hanging out too much.
All right. Well,
I totally understand.
Okay, well, we'll make it work. So as I described in very grave detail before the show, StormOS, we've been the guys and I have been we've been testing it over the past month and a half or so, making sure everything is hunky-dory, making sure that the past September and October ISOs are fully ready to go. Everything, is rocking and rolling. And so, it's been a bumpy ride, but it's all good now. We've been, we did for a little while try and pull KD into the mix, and sadly, um, that just completely fell apart. We almost had it done, but the sad part was, we couldn't we got the theme, we got all that stuff squared. However, the icons were all effed up. They were just not working properly, and people would have had to set the icons and the wallpapers manually. We just didn't want to keep fitzing around with that. So we just decided, heck with it. We're going to just stick to XFCE because that's been our tried and true version, and we just said, heck with it. We're sticking to that. So either way, the XFCE version is all pimped out, ready to go. So that's all good there. And hence, that's, we've been testing it back and forth for the past, like I said, month and a half. And our trusty buddy Jinda here can attest to, having ran a VM, and I've been running it on my laptop for the past same amount of time. And, I think, from my personal tests, Red's personal tests, and Ricky's, that it's all well and good. And actually, Red, our trusty third codev seeker, he's made some videos and some tutorials on things, like building the ISO, testing different things, and with our custom screen recorder that he made. And yeah, so it's all good. And I I'm going to stress this again because this has been a labor of love from the ground up. I think, Nate, I think it's ready for showtime. Actually, really, I do, because this is one that the team and I have sort of bent ourselves over backwards and ate our own dog food on for a good while. So I think it's ready for a distro delve in this case, truthfully.
Well, excellent. So maybe we can
yes,
do that for a distro
I
exploration.
think it's ready, man, because like Jinda said in the beginning, in the pre-show, he's checked it, and he can back me up on that one. So
Oh, you really expect me to back you up on that live here?
So,
oh, dude, come on. Hey, you did say you weren't going to lie about it.
No, I'm not going to lie about it. And once again, I'm going to complain about it. I have no complaints.
No, yeah, he did. And
Yeah, it actually worked.
I
shocked as you are.
I was shocked as anybody else in here, so I think we've really hit the mark on this release. So yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
yeah. So
and,
Mike O'Toole said what distro is being discussed, but Arch Penguin, before I get to it, did say it was Storm OS, and he was thankful. So yep, Storm OS. Right. It's an Arch-based distribution, correct?
Yeah.
And then we have
it's Arch-based, and
XFCE.
It's trying to bring the world of Arch to people who don't know what the F they're doing with Linux, so to speak.
Right.
And, this is something I think we've really accomplished on this version, and I would love to have us revisit it because, again, the guys and I have really cut our teeth on it, this time, and I think if you guys do it, you'll really see that, unlike last time, we've really taken our time and we've really polished the Pescado release to be something that, I think you guys will really be impressed and really enjoy,
And I think you said Pescado, is that your name of the release?
The name of this month's version, yes.
Okay. I think you should have a food theme. That would be great.
A food theme. Oh, geez, come on. We're naming them after, after famous Spanish words. because
There are
you
lots
know,
of famous Spanish foods. I'm just saying.
okay, well, I'll talk to my guys about it, and hopefully in the November version, we'll have something around those lines. But you know, for this one, we decided pescado was a brotherly term, and you know that's what we use to describe each other somewhat.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, that's nice.
but either way, I felt for the October version we could do a distro delve on that and that kind of thing. So.
And then since Seeker did have an issue with dealing with a very actually probably a couple storms, maybe you should have a Spanish word for storm for the next one.
Yeah,
recovering.
for next month we will look into that, sure. But you know, it's oh, Red's back. He said it's working now. Oh God. Yes.
It's been a crazy year. What can I say? It's been a crazy year. Everything.
It's yeah, and it is hurricane season where he is. So same with Ricky. So I didn't mind popping in, on my own to sort of promote this one. So, but hey, like I said, long story short, it's working fine, and like I said, it's ready to be plugged as much as it needs to be. So
yep.
Man.
And War Thunder says, "I've heard good things. Look forward to taking
a browse at it." Cool.
Yeah, take a look at
it. More, and Arch is right. Light years better than before. Yes, and like I said, I know 2 years ago we had a very rough review of it, but again, I think if we do it, when possible, it'll be a much better delve than the 2022 release was. So,
and
but yeah.
And speaking of StonelOS, it's kicking up again right now. So the bitrate hasn't changed. So we're good.
The rain hasn't changed. Oh God. Okay.
Well, bitrate, but the rain has.
But oh God, goodness. But yeah. Either way, Nate. I know we said that next week was going to be open, free for all mumbo jumbo thing, but I think this is not toot my own horn here, so to speak, but I think StormOS, in my own words, has become that BA, sort of put it cleanly, that I think it would take a good place in place of next week. I think it is that polished and that kicker.
Well, here's what we can do. I mean, if people want to start testing it now, cool. We're still gonna do the open mic night, and then we'll get to it the week
I got
after.
it. Well, how about the week after then?
Yeah. Well, we can do that. Well, we'll put it to a vote.
All right, cool with me. I'll make that deal with you.
I think Colin can probably do a video on it. Jinda can,
Jinda can keep
do
working.
Do what Jinda does.
Yeah, do what Jinda does. The etc.
I'll download it and try it anyway, for sure.
Sweet. Well, fantastic. What's exciting? I hope Seeker and Ricky will get the communities can pull things together and get get things back online.
And
the hardworking men of the linemen and
what I'll
everything
even
else.
do is for the week after next for the distro delve is I'll do you one better, Nate. I'll get let me think of how I can phrase this. I'll do some gaming on it, and 2, I'll start working on the Storm Scratch edition as well. So yeah, both will be hopefully ready for 2 weeks from now for you.
Well, next week.
Yes, we'll touch on that next time. Don't worry.
Well, fantastic.
Right. Well, either way,
much appreciated. So the Spanish word for storm is tormenta.
Plenty of content from the team and I for next topic. Don't worry.
So the Spanish word for storm is tormenta. So you could call that.
Oh God, that will be maybe
Tormenta
the name
OS
for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, StormOS for 2 weeks from now. You got it.
All right. Well,
that'll be our next trip around the sun.
Well, I know that
Vince
Eric.
Go
ahead.
Vince wants a Nacho Libre release. He said.
Oh, that'd be that. I like that idea. They should have a module in LibreOffice called Libre Nacho. Not sure what it would do, but they should just do
Libre
it.
Nacho.
Good old Vince.
Yeah.
What would we do without Vince? Wish I could see Vince more
Oh,
often. But I know he's
jeez.
a busy guy.
Yeah, it's one of those. And Nate, I will want to say that, we're glad, you're good friends with the StormOS group, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here hanging with you.
Oh, well, I'm glad you can. That's what this whole kit and caboodle is about. Alrighty. Well, it's about that time for last call. Maybe a little bit early, but when you have things go wrong that really, like, 1 minute is like 2, or really like 5. So anyway, we'll go ahead and move on to that. So Eric Adams, he is I think still out of town because he left home due to the storm coming, but I think everything worked out okay for him last time I talked to him, which I think was yesterday. So so hopefully he'll be returning home here, and it won't be too worse for the wear. Steve's very own, he was in the chat. He streams Sunday morning, most Sunday mornings at 8:30 a.m. Central, and he also streams throughout the week. And he's got a fun stream because you can, if you earn enough points on his stream, you can hashtag fart or hashtag punch, not hashtag, exclamation point, bang, I guess, bang fart and bang punch, and then you can punch him in his stream. But he's like the least punchable face on the internet. I don't know why he would have such a punch thing, but just in case.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So one of my favorite podcasts is called Linux User Space. Season 5 has begun. So if you want to check out, they've got a lot of new stuff up already. Started in September.
Yeah.
So I think another one's coming out this Monday, I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm at a podcast called
Well, it's been fun, man. I'm going to go ahead and pop off
All right.
and get working on that storm scratch thing.
Sounds good.
See you, Ben.
All right. See you guys next time.
No worries.
So I'm on a podcast called Linux Out Loud. I have two co-hosts, Matt and Wendy, and occasionally a Bill when Matt can't be there. But we last recorded episode 98, where we did some server talking, some 3D printer talking, and Matt got some more hardware and gave another game suggestion. But I don't know where Matt gets all this money for hardware. But anyway, there we go. And also, I have a website called cubiclenate.com. I've actually published quite a few things here in the last week. I had an issue where my son's Steam Deck, the internal screen wouldn't be recognized. Like, no matter what I did, I had to have it plugged in. The screen didn't exist. So I did work on figuring that out, dug through some forums, and then decided I'd publish my findings at cubiclenate.com in hopes that it helps somebody else. Also, I finally I got an Atari VCS. It's a AMD-based PC, basically. Actually sits behind me behind this pink computer here. And it's a great little machine. I did some upgrades to it. And it's like kind of a home theater PC / kind of like casual gaming machine. Love it. Pairs great with a PlayStation 5 or 6 controller because you got the little touchpad thing, so you can do the desktop life with it, or you can put in full screen mode and on Steam and whatever. Also, I did an article about QTQR. It's encoding and decoding QR codes in Linux. So you can hold a QR code up to your webcam, or whatever. It'll decode that and allow you to either pull the text out of it or go to visit a link or whatever else it is you need to do with that information. So that's pretty cool. And I finally put together and published all my CAD documents on my 6-screen display system that I have here. There's 7 panels, but it's technically 6 screens as far as the computer's concerned. So I published all that. So if you want to see how I put that together, look at the CAD information. Maybe be inspired to do something like that for yourself. That's cool too. And Zoe Ronan says, love your fake tux, Nate. You like it? It's got a little ping right there. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Very nice.
I felt like I want to dress up for the show, kind of really really put the extra effort in this time, get my bow tie straight, everything else. So anyway, so thank you for being here. Linux Saloon is part of the Tux Digital Network. Check out more great shows at tuxdigital.com. And thank you all for your support, however you do it, being a part of the conversation on both the Zoom meeting and the YouTube stream, as well as for everyone watching the show after the fact. I want to thank you all. I want to thank everyone involved in making the Linux and open source tools possible for us not only to have this conversation, but also to have fun and enjoy technology. Linux truly puts personal back into personal computer. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to tip your developers, and please remember to Linux responsibly. Until next time, see yous.
Bye.